What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Dose Podcast. Episode 50, guys. Get yourself a refreshment. Gonna be a great episode. Let's get into it. Woo! Great song, guys. That's Nothing's Forever by Stano and Zay Valens. Link for the song will be in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, guys. Shout out to our sponsors, Jackpack LLC, as well as Complete Solutions. If you're in Albuquerque or surrounding areas, you need any remodeling work, landscaping, tons of different services, tap in, and we'll get you all taken care of. It's going to be a great episode, guys. We got a lot of current topics, as well as some fights from this past weekend, both UFC and bare knuckle. Let's get right into it. So, the UFC fights, in my opinion, well, first of all, before they even started, we had 4 fighters miss weight. That's never a good sign, especially, I'm under the impression that usually when you don't make weight, you don't get the bonuses. So, you could be missing out on $25,000 up to $100,000 just by not missing weight. So, definitely a bad look for the card overall. Now, one thing, the co-main and the main. Let's look at these card overall. It started off pretty well. It actually had some good fights. I was entertained, and then it got to a couple of them, and it just really started to slow down. Like I said, overall, all those were pretty good. The main ones I had an issue with was the main event, obviously. This guy, Vinicius Oliveira. Now, he looked like he gassed out right after the first round. The first round was decently competitive. They were trying to feel each other out. I didn't see, he made some type of excuse or whatever, but just gassed out, completely let Mario take over the fight after that, ended up getting submitted. In the co-main, same thing. It was very interesting. Like, Kayori Horiguchi ended up winning. The first round, it was pretty competitive. They were both kind of feeling each other out, and then towards the end of the first, going in the second, he just started taking over. Amir started looking like he was gassed out. Gassing out and just, got it put on him. He ended up getting whooped the second and third round. Definitely interesting. I think you give Horiguchi a shot versus Joshua Van. Why not? The fight before that, Jailton Almeida and this other guy, Rizvan Kunev, this Russian guy, one of the most boring fights I ever seen. It looked like it was a joke. I thought two guys were sparring. They were just like laying against each other, up against the cage. Neither one was trying to put on any damage. It was absolutely embarrassing. I did not understand it at all. So those were definitely some weird ones. Dustin Jacoby had a great TKO. Some pretty good fights overall. Nothing to really blow your hair back. The one thing I'm kind of concerned with Paramount is, does UFC really put the quality cards together all the time, right? On ESPN, they were getting $500 million a year. And now on Paramount for the next 7 years, they'll be getting $1.1 billion. So no matter what, they already got their money. So they continue to put on really, really entertaining fights that we want to see? Or here and there, are they just going to slap some of these fight nights together? So I'll be curious to see. There's no fights this weekend. The following weekend, we got that Strickland Hernandez. So we'll break that down next week. But, that's always a kind of a worry when you get a lot more money like that. You're not as incentivized to really put on big events. Now, guaranteed, they'll still put on the big pay-per-view, numbered cards, the White House, whatever it may be. But overall, just that one was a pretty weak card in my opinion. Now, on the opposite, you had bare knuckle fighting championships. These were live in Philadelphia, absolute bangers. Guys just scrapping. You had Crazy Horse Charles Bennett, who was 1-25. Yes, 1 win and 25 losses in his last 26 fight. Comes out with a beautiful stoppage. Check this out. No hate, you know what I mean? It's cool to finally see. You figure after 26 fights, you got to get a win in there. So shout outs to him, as well as Andre the Pitbull Arlovski is your new BKFC heavyweight champion. Stops Bren Rothwell. That's crazy. I know he's in his mid to late 40s, still doing the damn thing. It was really cool to see. Overall, like I said, if you're looking for entertainment, They're 5 2-minute rounds, action-packed, no gloves, toe the line and get to it. So there's always a ton of finishes on those cards. Now, one thing that was interesting, Usman Nurmagomedov wins the PFL title over the weekend. I didn't even know the card was happening, right? When a Nurmagomedov usually fights, that's a big event. So I think PFL is not much behind Bellator, right? There's not much promotion on their end. Whatever money they are putting out, they can't be seeing much of a return. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what network it's even on. It used to be on ESPN, but yeah, guys, that's why you can say whatever you want about the UFC, but they have a formula. They know how to run a company to stay in business. At the end of the day, could the fighters be paid more? Yes, but if the company goes out of business, fighters won't be paid at all. So something you guys got to keep in mind. I saw Arman Tsarukyan say that if he doesn't get a title shot at 55, he could jump down to 45. I personally don't see this in any way, shape, or form, just being that he's kind of had some trouble making 155, right? He's a pretty big jack guy, so I just don't see him making 145. If he did, he could absolutely be a problem for Volk, just with his strength and everything like that. But being that depleted, it would still, Volk's getting a little older, it would probably be, a win for him. But I just don't think he could actually make 145, but I guess we'll see. Now, Shakur Stevenson, from what I read, he was stripped of his 135-pound WBC world title after he fought Teofimo for the Ring Magazine title, which is very weird, right? Last time he fought was for the WBC. He paid his sanctioning fees. This time he was fighting Ring Magazine belt for the Ring Magazine belt, and the WBC wanted $100,000. Doesn't even make any sense. So he, of course, refused and was stripped of it. Now, guys, doing this, the WBC doing the things that they keep doing, they're going to make the belt less and less of value. And what I mean by that is more fighters, Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, as more fighters don't pay them because they don't want to pay this huge fee when all the other sanctioning bodies don't charge anywhere near that. No one's going to want the belt or have the belt, therefore devaluing it. So I don't get that. I think every belt should have a flat fee, no matter the purse of the fighters, whatever it may be, because at the end of the day, they're not doing anything, right? They get this money for literally free, so that just doesn't make sense. Obviously, a couple things from Teofimo versus Shakur after the fight. His dad comes out. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He says Teofimo didn't listen to him, didn't take his advice. Buddy, you didn't give no damn advice. You are the worst corner man in history. Something is wrong with him. Teo has to get him the hell out of his corner. This was pretty crazy. I just didn't get it. Teo just started apologizing for slavery. Like, damn, Shakur must have whooped that ass. He didn't even know what was going on. That was a great performance from Shakur Stevenson. Now, UFC officially cut ties. I thought I was assuming that already with Aaron Tua. That was the guy who tried to cheat at the weigh-ins at UFC 325. Truly, what an idiot on his part, guys. He was on the Contender Series where he didn't get a contract. He gets a short notice opportunity and blows it like that. Even if he would have came in and missed weight and fought good, the UFC would have been okay with that. They understand it's on short notice. When you try and cheat, that's pretty cut and dry, buddy. So you kind of kicked yourself out on that one. Really, really dumb. And unfortunately, the UFC will probably never give him a shot. So ruined his whole future with that, guys. Think about the decisions you make before you make them. Now, Bryce Mitchell was on Tim Welsh's podcast, Sean O'Malley's coach. This guy is just a nut. Just some of the stuff he says is just absolutely crazy, that him and O'Malley and them are going to, be brothers fighting against the regime and all this crazy stuff. He was giving excuses for why he lost to Topuria. He was always also giving advice for people how to beat Topuria. Doc, Topuria whooped your ass. I don't know what you're talking about, but I never understand, like when Chad Mendez was talking trash to Conor McGregor after Conor whooped his ass. When someone whoops your ass, there's nothing you could say, buddy. If you want to run it back and prove it and then say something, that's one thing. But, guys, immediate, you're a goofy if someone whooped your ass and then you try and talk shit on them. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, Craig Jones versus Dillon Danis announced for CGI 3. I mean, if this actually goes down, again, Dillon has balls, but there's really no danger in a grappling match. I would assume he gets absolutely smashed, folded up, just taken, that boy, Craig Jones, will just probably mollywop him. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it actually comes through. A lot of times Dillon posts stuff that doesn't happen. But if it does, I think he definitely loses. Now check out Wilder. He's getting hot. He's mad at this interviewer. He claims that he has evidence that Fury cheated. This guy, the interviewer wants to just clarify that. He only wants to talk about his fight with Chirosa. He ends up getting hot, leaving the interview. I don't know. Wilder's had a lot of ups and downs, right? At one time he was just crazy, locked in. Then he was peaceful. Now he's back losing. I mean, for me personally, I think that's CTE, but who knows? I mean, pretty much Chisora came out and said, this is going to be both of our last fights. Neither one of us are in a position to be fighting and competing still. So, yeah, I really don't know who to pick in that one. Just with Deontay Wilder mentally, we really don't know what we're going to get out of him. Real quick, guys, if you're enjoying the episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Really helps out the channel more than you know. Helps us get out there, get many people to put their eyes on it as possible. Share it with a friend. Like I said, thank you guys for all the support. Tap in if you do want to sponsor the channel. Now look at this, guys. Former NFL player Adrian Peterson getting into it over a poker game. That boy is swinging. Absolutely crazy. This looked like he's in a barbershop or something. I don't really know what's going on, but of course, when you're a former NFL player, people are gonna record you like that. But absolutely rowdy. That boy is just swinging. Something pretty crazy, guys. Rapper Boston Richie beats his second federal case. That is way more insane than you guys realize. The feds have like a 97% conviction rate. It's almost impossible to beat them twice. So the fact that Buddy did it not once but twice, they can't bother him. They got to leave him alone. That is just absolutely nuts. Shout outs to him. Tony Yayo was recently on the Flagrant podcast, Andrew Schultz and his boys. He's probably he has his own, I think, or is going to start it. He's actually probably going to be a pretty dope podcaster. He's a very interesting individual, like not what you would expect, right? He actually talks about, he's got a lot of great stories. He's not this wild guy, very loyal to 50 Cent, and he has some very interesting takes, and he puts evidence behind them. He gets into it with Andrew's co-host about a couple different things. He would rather have 50's career over Jay, just a couple of different stuff. But it's really cool to see, like, after all this time, not putting out music, this and that, he's still, doing it. He's still going on tour from his old music. He's doing a podcast run. It was just cool to see, shout outs to Yayo. Guys, look at this door. What in the CTE? Absolutely one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. This dude can't be serious. Jeremy Stevens must have got smacked around too many times. You should be under arrest, buddy. Absolutely terrible. Now, Waymo was in court recently. Those are those driveless cars, the self-driving cars out there in Arizona. Now, allegedly, in certain situations, is what they said, that their cars are actually being guided by people out in the Philippines, which is crazy, but it actually makes me feel better because I was always like, ain't no way I'm going to sit in a car that's just completely operated by a computer. That just, every time I seen them, that made me feel a certain type of way. But yeah, so basically in the tricky or needed situations, they do have people in the Philippines guiding them, and it's got people mad. But hey, I was like, shoot, now I might actually ride in one. Guys, look at this. Dominic Cruz and Chuck Liddell watch Tito Ortiz get sworn in. This buddy's biggest fight in his life has been worked. I mean, that CTE is rocking. I don't know if you guys seen the viral video where he talks about how many days he works out. He's like, 4 days a week I work out 3 times a day. 5 days a week I work out 2 times a day. He's the youngest he ever been. He wants to live longer than his kids. He says all sorts of stuff. This dude is a nut, man. It's kind of sad, but it's a little funny at the same time. Now, talk about storytelling, guys. This is an older video, but I had seen it recently and just made me crack up. This dude can't be serious.
What were you like in high school?
Terrible.
That's Fat Joe saying that he robbed his whole gym in high school with no gun, just off pure intimidation. Buddy, stop capping. That is an absolute joke. Nobody's going to come into a gym and rob 60. Shit, me and 4 of my homeboys would have beat his ass. That is just ridiculous, the stories that people tell. Now, there was some type, I guess, celebrity flag football event. Look at this. This is John Jones trying to cover Dwight Howard. He gets absolutely cooked. Buddy doesn't look like he's in any type of shape at all. Maybe we don't see him on the White House card, but yeah, he got absolutely cooked. Guys, I love seeing this only because this streamer kid's a dork. This is Oblivion and Ryan Garcia going at it with some gloves. Check this out. I mean, and Ryan's probably going 30% of that. But guys, all you streamers, people that have never competed, fought, you don't know your abilities until you do that. I won't say none of you guys can fight or whatever, but you don't know your abilities till you actually put it to the test. If only in your brain you think you're a bad dude and you never proved it, you guys got to stop that nonsense. Future artist Doughboy, look at this.
Let me get my phone.
I don't know what this dude did, but he slapped the damn hat off his head. Oh, buddy didn't know where he was at after that. That's absolutely wild. Hey, sometimes you play, dog, you find out. This is, I couldn't even believe this. Hopefully this is just like a joke for some content. This lady comes to her baby dad's house at 2 in the morning trying to claim their son's football practice just ended.
What time is it right now?
Has Buddy fully geared up, suited and booted. Excuse me, ma'am. I like the type of playing y'all be trying to do is just nuts. Who do you think in their right mind would just go, oh yeah, for sure, no, extra practice. Like practice ended at 8 o'clock. The hell you mean 2 in the morning? Like I said, that's got to be a joke. People are just absolutely crazy. Look at this, guys. This is a new sport. I guess the goal is just to take each other out. Look at these clips. Oh my God. These dudes just run at each other as fast as they can and collide and see who comes out on top. This is absolutely nuts. I wouldn't say it's as bad as power slap. I don't know. Probably like just on the dumbness, right? Like you're just going to run at somebody. You're just going to let someone slap you. But this one is absolutely crazy, guys. And definitely a no for me. Now, crime of the week. Excuse me. We had one more thing. So Pretty Tony. He's referencing a lot of famous hip hop songs. He's a famous cook for, the hood stuff, right? He was recently on Johnny Mitchell's The Connect. It was pretty crazy. Obviously, he was co-signing Pusha T, all the stuff he raps about, 100% true. He said the biggest rapper that was actually doing it, kilos, making tons of money, was Jeezy. That is crazy. So the Snowman wasn't capping. And a really cool story for me personally, he said that he picked up from Guru several times for about a year. Guru, a gangstar, R.I.P. But, it's just cool, all the stories he was telling in the sense of that shows these cats were actually real. Because most of these dudes these days especially just be rapping about shit they have no idea about. So check out the episode if you want some real hip-hop stuff. It was dope. Now, crime of the week. We have Nancy Guthrie case. This one is very interesting. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you guys, but it's like allegedly she's been kidnapped and she's being held for ransom and all this, and she's in a bad health state, and just everything I've seen on it, I really feel like in some way or another the family's involved, the daughter and the son-in-law, something, but it just doesn't seem right to me, the way they're acting and just the whole case in general. Like they only sent a ransom note to TMZ. That's strictly for publicity. I don't know. It's a weird one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but that's definitely the crime of the week. It's just weird. I would say if I'm a betting man, it's going to end up being some of the family members involved. Great episode, guys. Went over the fights from this past weekend. None coming up, but of course we'll get on and do some current topics and predict the next week's fights. As always, we're going to get out of here on the message of the week. It isn't normal to know exactly what we want. That's a rare and difficult psychological achievement. Guys, if you know what you want, if in your heart you really know what you're meant to do or meant to be, hold on to that, embrace it, chase it until you get there. Never stop. Most people just go through life not knowing, just going with the flow, not chasing anything, and I'm not knocking that, but if you know what your destiny is, if you know what you're trying to do, pursue it, stay consistent, keep chipping away, and you'll get there. I can promise you that. That's a wrap, guys. Episode 50 of the Daily Dose Podcast. I appreciate all the support, guys. The channel's getting bigger. Keep running it up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you guys next week.